Best ball drafts are red hot right now, and I got 5 undervalued fantasy players that you need to be targeting in those mid to late rounds that could end up being fantasy gems. Jump on the value right now, and even in redraft leagues in the summertime where redrafts are alive and well, some of these guys may still be slept on, so you don't want to miss out. I truly cannot believe my eyes where Alvin Kamara is going right now in best ball drafts, and the 6th round is where he's living and breathing. Guys, we can wait until the 6th round to potentially get a RB1. Now, he missed 3 games last season due to suspension, but he still managed to finish RB3 in points per game. This is crazy to me. And you look at the Saints draft and coming out of free agency, they didn't really grab any wide receivers to go into that wide receiver 3 role that is up for grabs. And I really feel as though Alvin Kamara still remains a focal point in this offense in the passing game. This dude had 75 receptions last year. And again, he missed the first 3 games. He didn't come back until week 4, but he was 1 reception off from tying Breece Hall among running backs in receptions. Now you look at this as his play in PPR formats where it gets really interesting. You get a running back in the 6th round that has this much upside in PPR formats to catch a bunch of balls. And let's be honest, man, Alvin Kamara catching 75 passes last season is pretty impressive. Of missing the 3 games, that's just as many receptions as Brandon Ayuk. That's just as many receptions as D-Hop. And that's more receptions than Jordan Addison, Amari Cooper, and Drake London. And these guys are all going rounds ahead of him. I know it's a different position, but this is just how crucial his involvement in the passing game is. So I cannot believe we're getting a potential RB1 in the 6th round, people. You can pair him up if you go in the 1st round with the big 3 with a CMC, Breece Hall, or Bijan. That is only 3 running backs I'll probably take in the first 3 rounds. But being able to have the opportunity to pair him up with those guys, man, this is a PPR dream, people. Now, I completely understand the concern around Rasheed Rice, but the 7th round, man, that value is just juicy to me, man, where I have to jump on it. Because honestly, after the 7th round, when you start looking at wide receivers to fill in guys and guys to be your wide receiver 3, possibly wide receiver 4, it gets a little nasty down there when you're looking at your options. So I'm buying the dip on Rasheed Rice in these later rounds because, to be honest, he has been the most productive and reliable wide receiver outside of Tyreek Hill for Patrick Mahomes in his entire career in the NFL. And I mean that by he has the highest catch rate, he has the most yards after the catch than any other wide receiver outside of Tyreek Hill since 2018. That is a huge thing for Rasheed Rice to put up the numbers that he put up last year as a rookie, and it only goes up for him. Now, the off-field distractions are concerning. I do think he may face some punishment. He may not, but 3 to 6 games, man, I'm willing to buy the dip on him just based on his talent and his ability. And I really feel as though the wide receiver facing suspension and coming back, it's more so a plug and play situation. So when these bye weeks start coming in and you start hearing the rumbles of, oh, I need a wide receiver, and you're looking past the 7th round, those options, I don't feel comfortable putting them in. I feel comfortable putting Rice into my starting lineups later in the season if he does face suspension, or he doesn't. Maybe he faces suspension next season, and look at the value you're getting on a guy that can produce in a Mahomes and Andy Reid system. Ladies and gentlemen, you can wait on quarterback this year in drafts, man. Dak Prescott living in 8th round is such great value, man. This dude has given us 3 of his last 4 seasons of 20-plus fantasy points. And yes, I'm including that 2020 start when he got injured because he was starting off red hot. So who knows how he would have finished that season. But Dak Prescott last season was amazing. Led the lead in completion percentage. And you look at a guy who has 88 on the field, CeeDee Lamb. He is a guy that I trust. He is a guy that's going to keep this offense rolling. So as long as 88 is on the field, Dak Prescott should be automatic. And you bring in Zeke, a little familiarity, you bring his buddy in, brings a little bit of morale up. I just feel as though this is great things for Dak Prescott, living in the 8th round, who finished QB4 last season in points per game. Nothing has changed. He did not lose anything last season. So I do not understand why he's living in the 8th round. So I can wait on a QB1, and this late in the draft, mid-round, I can just stack at other positions that need the depth, some players that I want to take some swings on, and I definitely think having a QB1 with the upside to finish as a top 5 QB again in the 8th round is such great value for my roster. So why not follow up with another Cowboy, and it's Ezekiel Elliott living in the 11th round. This is great value on a running back that we know is still going to be utilized in this passing game, in the run game, and heavily used in the red zone, because the last time we saw him in a Cowboys jersey, he had 12 rushing touchdowns. 11 of them came within the 10-yard line. So the offense is still clicking on all cylinders with and without Zeke. I definitely look at this Cowboys offense still creating a lot of scoring opportunities. They led the NFL in red zone drives. So if you have Ezekiel Elliott back there, which is a plug and play situation here for Zeke, living in the 11th round, he could be your RB3, RB4 with heavy red zone presence. And I'm looking for touchdowns when I get into these later rounds with these running backs, and Zeke's fit the bill, man. I definitely see this being an opportunity for Zeke to get a spark of some fantasy relevance. He had 51 catches last year, so his involvement in the passing game might also give him a PPR boost as well. So I definitely like him being the lead back of the Cowboys offense that has a really good offense right now that creates a lot of scoring opportunities. Yeah, sign me up for Zeke in the 11th round as my RB3, RB4. Now for my next guy, Will Levis is massively underrated right now, undervalued, going in the 15th round, damn near undrafted in most cases. But man, a lot of people need to look at the situation that is building around him. You have a great 1-2 punch at the running back position with Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. Then you have DeAndre Hopkins on the outside. Calvin Ridley is coming in on free agency. And then you bring in another guy like Tyler Boyd. Now, looking at this offense, this looks like a solid offense for a young quarterback to develop and move forward. Last year, we saw him fall off a cliff after 3 weeks after his debut, where he had those 4 touchdowns. Great, great, great. But this offense as a whole struggled on third down, and Will Levis suffered the most on third down. Out of the 35 qualified quarterbacks on completion percentage on third down, he was ranked 32nd. And you're looking at him trying to connect with his number 1 target last season, DeAndre Hopkins. He had a 16.7 completion percentage when targeting D-Hop. Real nasty work. Now Brian Callahan brings in a familiar face from the Bengals, Tyler Boyd, who can help out in that area to keep these drives alive, to keep the chains moving. A guy like Tyler Boyd, since Joe Burrow was the starter, since 2020, he led the Bengals in receptions for first down, targets, catches, and he had the highest catch rate when targeted on third down from Joe Burrow. That is a great addition to this Titans offense for Will Levis to be able to keep these drives alive, which equals more fantasy points and more scoring opportunities. So I like Will Levis as a solid QB2. He has QB2 upside. I'm not going to say QB1 right now because we have yet to see him execute this, but man, you have to go get Will Levis in the 15th round. So that wraps up another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. And please head over to the website, rotoballer.com, and sign up to the subscription using promo code FIRE to get 10% off on your purchase. So make sure you guys follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. Until next time.